Colin Earl here. I thought I saw a couple of movies this weekend, so I thought I'd get a couple of reviews out. First movie I watched this weekend was Mirror Mirror. Took the kids to it. So this is my review of Mirror Mirror. Main characters, main stars in it was Julia Roberts and Lynn Collins, who happens to be Phil Collins' daughter. Who knew? So let's talk about the good. The good in this story is it was very much a family film. There were some funny parts. The dwarves, the guys who played the dwarves, who were bandits through this movie. There were some slight variations on the legend, but it's much closer, I think, to the original story than say like the Disney. But I mean, ultimately, it was just a retelling of the same old Snow White. And what's funny about Snow White right now is that it seems that there's quite a few of these movies coming out. This one is much more family oriented, while the one coming out, I want to say The Huntsman, is very much not. So, excuse me. So the good with this movie was it was fun. There were some fun parts to it. Some decent characters, some decent characterization. Julia Roberts is fantastic. She always is. And there were some pretty cool cinematography scene changes. For example, Julia Roberts, who's the queen, I don't ever give her a name, is going in and out of her magic mirror. And the magic mirror just isn't something just like a projection on a mirror screen. It's like a place. It's like her happy place, I guess. I don't know. And the voice or the magic mirror's persona is actually Julia Roberts herself, which they never really explain it, but the transitions into the scenes where Julia Roberts is acting just herself, she's talking to herself and all of those things were really quite good. It wrapped up nicely, I guess. Had a couple of twists I didn't see coming, and I'm pretty good about predicting those. For the most part, the things that they did well, which I've mentioned, they did really quite well. Some cinematography, some scene changes, a couple of twists I didn't see coming, and those were done well. However, there's far more not done well in this movie than there was done well. It was kind of slow. A little bit on the boring side, I'm not going to lie. And a few of those twists may have been better telegraphed. Maybe I'd have to see it again to really hammer it down to really catch those. But for the most part, I was underwhelmed with the film. It's very much a kid-friendly film. I think kids will like it. I thought the humor was a little bit juvenile, but the dwarves, who are all the dwarves, who the little people, midgets, what's the politically correct term? I don't even know. The little people who played the dwarfs in there are all from shows that you've seen and you watched, and I mean they're actors that you see in quite a bit. I mean, only so many little people available for these parts, and they were good. They were some of the best acting in there. Their scenes were very enjoyable. Phil Collins' daughter, Lynn Collins, she did a pretty decent job, but decent. I don't think she's particularly attractive, personally. Especially, I spent most of my time when I was looking at her wanting her to pin her down and wax her eyebrows. And this is coming from a guy who's as straight as they come. Her eyebrows were so thick they were distracting. Like, when you can start hiding ferrets in your eyebrows, it's time to get them waxed. Or plucked or something, whatever you women do. Besides that, I mean, she's a beautiful girl. It's just her, I don't know if that's in right now, the bushy eyebrows, but I thought they were distracting. The guy who plays the prince, I don't even know his name. I thought he was okay, I guess. He and the main female lead, Lynn Collins, had no chemistry at all. Like, when they're kissing, I'm just like, that's probably like kissing your brother. I don't know. That part I don't think was particularly well done, because they had a couple of humorous scenes together when they're sword fighting in the woods later on in the movie, and it was not a short movie. I think it was at least 2 hours. or maybe it just felt that way. When they're sword fighting the scene, he's kind of smacking her bottom. That's pretty funny, and maybe I'm just geeky. Who knows? Let me think. Anything else? Ultimately, I would say that this movie was slow. I don't know if I'd watch it again. Maybe when it comes out, I definitely wouldn't see it in theater again. Pay another $10 for it. But my kids liked it. They got a real kick out of it, and it was a good family film. So if you're looking for a family film, you got kids, this is not a bad one. The much better one maybe The Lorax, which was great. You know, and the message on this one was, you know, it was good. Good conquers all. Love over vanity. Selfishness, unselfishness versus selfishness. Who knows? And the weirdest thing about this movie was the end scene. So they end it, everyone lives happily ever after, hallelujah, right? But then they go into this like weird Bollywood number, and I kid you not, like everyone got out of that theater and were like, what the heck just happened? Like there was this weird like dancing Bollywood number. Now don't get me wrong, I love Bollywood as much as the next guy, but number one, if you're gonna do a Bollywood number, there's got to be an elephant in it. No elephant. Number two, why are we doing a Bollywood number at the end of Snow White? I don't know. Anyways, maybe I'd give it maybe a 2.5 stars, maybe even up to a 3. My kids did like it. It was tolerable. But those are my main complaints. You know, Julia Roberts was fantastic, but she was about the only one. I should say that. The dwarves were good. There were some humorous scenes with them. Plot was predictable as, you know, it's just a retelling of Snow White. But there were a couple twists that I saw coming. So the twists were pretty interesting. And maybe they could have been telegraphed a little bit better. The main leads had no chemistry, so don't be hoping for a love story. It's probably a renter. Let me say that. It's probably a renter as opposed to going to the theater. This is reviews by Collin. Find out more about me at my website, www.collinearl.com. I do have a rush going on for my first novel, which is Harmonics, Rise of the Magician. It's available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and they are both free. So look it up. There's actually no one to look it up. There's a link in the bottom. Click it. Download the book. You're going to love it. It's a dystopic fantasy. Reviews by Collin. Check me out. Questions concerning Punch. If you saw the movie, did you like it? If you didn't, leave me a comment. You know where to find me. Thanks a lot.